Kirk Salvatore. Sorry for my rant.
Thank you.
I don't even have Kirk Salvatore on my list here. Ooh, how come?
Is he new? Maybe.
Salvatore. Got it. It's down here. How are we doing? Good?
Ready when you are.
Good, oh, okay. In about 2 hours we'll start. Okay, we are Fall River Planning Board. And our meeting tonight, April the 7th. No, April the 13th. Good thing it's not a Friday. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived, by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. And tonight we have joining us board members Elizabeth Andre.
Present.
Mario Luciola.
Present.
Gloria Pacheco.
Present.
I'm Cynthia Savigny. I'm present. John Ferreira is absent this evening. We also have Caitlin Young, our city planner, here with us, and Nina Habo, our recording clerk. And from Fall River Government TV, Craig Salvatore. All set. Item number 1. Okay, we have the street acceptance, Glendale Street. Request of Glendale Street extending from North Main Street to a dead end. This has been referred by the City Council on November 30th, 2021. And we have the correspondence dated March 9th, 2022 from Daniel Aguiar, our city engineer, to the board regarding the Glendale Street. I'll read it. I am in receipt of a petition requesting the city to accept that portion of Glendale Street from North Main Street to its westerly terminus. It's my understanding that in 2019, some commitment may have been made to the petitioners with regard to the repaving of Glendale Street. For informational purposes, Glendale Street is approximately 185 feet in length and provides vehicle access to 4 residential properties. The paved surface as it exists today would not meet the minimum standard required for a new roadway. Upon acceptance, the city would have the physical ability to make the required improvements. The city currently has a long list of streets requiring attention, and this street would be added to that list. No commitment of time to complete or financial ability to complete is intended. If the City Council ultimately voted not to accept the street, it would remain private, and the owners of the private way would be responsible for any improvements to be made if they so desired. We have a picture of that. We also have...
Can I speak on that for a moment, Ms. Chair?
Absolutely.
So, per the procedure for laying out and accepting streets, interesting enough, it's supposed to go from the petition being filed by the city clerk to the city clerk ordering plans to be prepared by engineer. Then it's submitted to city council and they refer it back to the planning board. So actually this should technically occur after we vote, but it happened beforehand, which is okay because they'll do that after we do this. So that, while they did recommend to the city engineer that they prepare the plans, technically that happens a little later in the in the procedure, just so you're aware.
Okay, so now we refer it back to them?
Yep, so this would be, not a reference, it would be like a vote to recommend acceptance. So it would be more of a vote to recommend either acceptance or lack of acceptance to the city council.
Okay, and so, to the board, any questions?
Not that I understand this, I went by that street too, but I couldn't find it. Because with a blinking eye, I was a mile away, because it's so short.
Yeah,
It's
it is
tiny.
short
Yeah.
street.
Again, if we approve, is the city completely responsible for that street?
So if we were to,
Or
you know,
should-
recommend this and
recommend,
then
yes.
city council accepted it, what would happen is we would have ownership of that right of way. And then what would happen is the city's got like a pavement management plan. So they would review the current status of this, and in that prioritization plan, it would be added in for someday being repaired. You know, it's not as though it would necessarily have to be repaired right away, but it would be added into the list, the inventory of current streets here in Fall River that are under the authority of the city, and therefore would be added to that, that management list. So, you know, maybe someday eventually work would have to be done, but I don't know when that would occur, because I don't know where it would fit within that prioritization plan.
So it would be prioritized based on the other, we don't know what kind of lag time there is on that, do we?
I don't know, unfortunately.
I know it's not your department, but I
Yeah,
just
and
thought I'd
it's, and it's,
ask.
I think without having the an engineer for like, you know, almost a year, I think they're trying to catch up on all of that and get that going right now.
Plus funding.
Yeah, and that's a kind of list where it's constantly changing. Like there could be something that's, you know, midway that goes up or down depending on the condition of the other streets in the city, so.
Okay,
Make a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we recommend that the city council approve Glendale Street become a public way.
I'll second the motion.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion has passed.
Thank you.
Now we have item number 2, which is a Form A, application for endorsement of plan believed not to require approval, file number 22-1530. The owner applicant is Seaboard LLC, Joseph Bermudez. Property location is at 350 Mariano Bishop Boulevard, and the assessors map is C-06-0023. Okay.
So, after reviewing this, it does appear that both lots have the appropriate area. They have the appropriate frontage, and the pre-existing structure on what's labeled as parcel 1 on this plan does have the appropriate side setback of 11 feet. The requirement there is 10 feet. So it appears that this does meet the requirements of the zoning ordinance.
Okay. Board, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And item number, that has passed. Item number 3, Form A, another application for endorsement of plan believed not to require approval. This is file number 22-1531. The owner applicant is Hutchins Holden LLC, property locations Innovation Way, on Assessors Map W-19-0190.
Okay, so this one is a little hard to make out on the plan because there's a lot of additional information, including, you know, some conservation restriction area. I kind of did a little highlight here to show you. So, this used to be one part, or this is one parcel, and what they want to do is cut out this back area following the line of that conservation restriction, and add this to this parcel. Let me show the camera too, I guess. Here you go. So the intent is to add this to this, which, you know, that's already an appropriate parcel per the zoning. So we're just attaching that onto that. And that's per the redevelopment authority.
Once they do that, is this still going to be a feasible lot?
Yes, that would still be a feasible lot.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
Meets all the criteria, right, so.
Yes.
I'll make a motion. It's not to approve, right, 'cause it says.
It's a
it's
motion
not
to
required-
endorse.
Endorse, right. So there's no approval required, correct?
The funny thing about it.
Yeah. Okay. Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and now, we have item number 4. It's a definitive subdivision. This is file number 19-209. The owner applicant is RGK Realty Trust. Property location is 386 Kilburn Street and Dwelly Street, and assessors map is B17-0001. Endorsement of the subdivision plan for the King Philip Estates subdivision, which was approved on September 24, 2019. And I don't have anything.
I've got a, it was in here, I made copies of it today, I apologize. Also, I'm sorry for the weird whiteout. I was
That's
on the phone
okay.
with someone, so I started doodling, because I do that sometimes when I'm.
All right, so no one has a copy of this.
Yeah, so let me pass this down.
There we go.
I think that might be more than enough. Okay.
Yes,
Yep,
that's enough.
got it, I got 2 extras here.
Okay, so do you want me to read this, or you want to take it over from here?
I can summarize it.
Okay.
So basically, back in 2019, you guys, the planning board, issued a decision approving the Form C subdivision for what's known as the King Philip Estates, which is along Kilburn Street and Dwelly Street. Within that decision, there was a condition that the plan not be endorsed until the order of conditions was issued by the Conservation Commission. That was issued in, let me see here, let me double check my date. That was issued on January 6th, 2020. And then COVID happened, and there was a big old delay. And as you guys are aware, normally you have to act within 2 years upon a subdivision. But during the state of emergency, the governor actually paused tolling on permitting. So within this memo, it outlines what the new finish date for that project would be, which would be December, let me see, which would be December 29th, 2022. So basically, during that period of a little over a year, the tolling on things like subdivision plans, special permits, variances, orders of conditions through the Conservation Commission, they had a pause because it was understood that it was kind of difficult to move forward with these things at that time. So the memo that at the time, this was actually submitted back on October, but unfortunately it for some reason just didn't make it onto an agenda. And that's why it's actually from our current engineer back from when he was working for CEC. But it outlines how the tolling is impacted. So at this point, you know, the order of conditions has been issued, and the applicant is requesting that those plans be endorsed so that work can begin. Granted, you know, he's probably going to have to get an extension towards the end of the year. I'm not sure how feasible it would be for him to finish by that December deadline, but
Right.
we can approach that we can deal with that when that comes to us.
Okay.
So I have a question. We don't have a, so I know the plan was not endorsed pending the EPA,
Mhm.
but we don't have a copy of it here,
Of the order of conditions?
of the plan.
I do have the Mylar.
So
I
we do have,
yeah,
we do
I
have the
I do
Mylar?
have the Mylar.
Okay.
I
I just wanted to
actually-
make sure that existed.
Yeah. So it actually like disappeared during COVID, so
Oh.
they had to bring a new one in this past fall, and I'm still going through the office since moving into it, and I came across this and called the developer, and now we're on track again, because really we should have probably acted upon it when it was submitted to us.
October.
So, but that's okay, we're doing it now.
Okay, so we do have the Mylar.
Yep, we have the
Okay, and
Mylar.
we now have EPA
Yep.
orders of conditions?
Yep, orders of conditions have been issued and recorded.
Great, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
So I make a motion we endorse the subdivision plan.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is passed.
Great. And just before everyone goes, we'll just get that out so you can all sign it.
I think Cynthia has authority.
For Form Cs as well?
Well, I'm not sure.
Oh, I don't.
I do the
I think-
bylaws, but.
I think Form
this is-
Cs,
Well,
if you could all
we'll
sign it, I
we'll
think that'd be
sign.
good.
Yes, that's
And,
fine.
and,
Form As, I would
and
say.
possibly back in 2019, when this was first started, I wasn't the only one signing at that point. So.
I think just for neatness' sake, like,
4 to 5 will sign.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and so now we have a receipt of a correspondence. And it's a review and discussion of waterways license, chapter 91 for Route 79.
So, kind of similar to, I don't think it was the last meeting, I think it was the meeting before we had correspondence, when, what you can do when you've got like a longer list of correspondence, you can actually make a, motion to take it as a consent agenda item, so you can actually approve, you can vote to group them together and then vote to approve all of them. Granted, there's only 2 here, but I wanted you guys to know in case in the next coming months we have some longer lists of correspondence, because there's a lot of work happening in the city and planning to happen in the city that involves things such as Chapter 91 waterways licenses. But regarding item 5, that is just the waterways license for some of the work occurring under the mean tidal area within the Taunton River associated with the Route 79 project, which includes some changes to stormwater outfalls, the elimination of CSO outfalls, and some of that work is occurring under the water body itself, so that's why it required a Chapter 91 license.
Okay, so this item just has to be placed on file?
I think that, yeah, so a vote to place it on file.
I'll motion for vote to place it on file.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the next, as you just was referring to, it's a receipt of a correspondence, a review and discussion of MassDOT project number 609434, Jefferson Street Bridge over Sucker Brook.
Yep. So,
And, go ahead.
after you. So this is just, once again, another piece of correspondence saying that, you know, the state's looking at potentially making or repairing that bridge over Sucker Brook, and it's just letting us know, the city know, and it was also sent to the CONSCOM and the zoning board that this is occurring, and if there's any feedback, to give them feedback. It's just another receipt of correspondence.
I went to look at this today, actually. And where the water comes to go under the bridge, I don't see it going out. Have you been there?
I haven't been there recently, but I'll have to go check it out and see what's.
We didn't know if it was piped at some point.
It might be. I'm not quite sure. I can get that answer for you. But.
Just curious, my husband used to
Oh,
go
no problem.
fishing down in that area.
It's probably a big safety problem because there's no railings. You
No
can fall
railings.
into the water, but it's pretty bad. It's pretty
Yeah,
bad.
let me make a note and I'll.
It is really bad.
Okay, I'll make a note
And
and
I'm
follow
glad
up.
that
See
they're
if-
paying
Just for
some attention to
information,
it,
we're just interested,
Because
because as I
it
said,
is a real hazard.
my husband used to go
Sure,
fishing
table.
down there, but I brought my dog, and there is no rail, and you have
Okay.
to be very careful of no one slipping.
I'll ask some questions around City Hall and see what the deal is with that.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Take a ride out there. It might be
Will.
interesting to see. Okay, now this item just needs to be received and placed on file.
Okay.
You got some questions on it?
Here what I hear, I will recommend it to table to the next meeting, get more information on it.
I second that motion. We can table
Okay,
it.
tabled. Good.
We just gotta make sure it's on the next agenda.
We're
Okay.
gonna vote on the tabling, motion to table?
Motion to table?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Second?
Yes, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And approval of the minutes of the February 9th, 2022 meeting.
I was there. I'll make a motion to approve the February 9 meeting.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That matter is approved. And, see if there's anything, I don't think there's anything, no citizen input. Anything else, Caitlin?
I see a memo on the open meeting compliance training.
Yes, but
So that,
has passed, hasn't it?
well, did we ask from that meeting? I think the
Mentioned
last
one.
meeting, which wasn't last month, the month before, because we didn't have a meeting last month.
Mhm.
We had shared that there's some open meeting and ethics training, and one person from the planning board does need to take an open meeting law training that's like a little longer than the normal like packet. So if someone wants to take that, please, or someone has to on the board, so if someone wants to volunteer for that, that would be lovely.
Do I have a volunteer?
I'm sorry?
I don't mind volunteering, but my only question is, I was wondering if the chair should be the one, because she runs the meeting.
So we weren't given any directive on that,
I'd
as to
hate
who
to
needs
be
to do
the
it.
one to be like, well, pursuant to X, Y, Z, if Cynthia is the one holding.
Yeah, so it's up to you. It's up to you guys who wants to do it. So if you think it's more appropriate for the chair to do it and she agrees, then
When is the next meeting on this?
the next meeting on the, for the
Open
planning board?
meeting? No,
The open meeting?
No,
We
before
have to
May
check,
1st?
they've got, I think they've got like webinars that are recorded on there.
But I think it says before May 1st is your
Yes, yeah, before May
targeted deadline.
1st, yeah, which this was sent around, I think, a couple months ago, but because we didn't have the meeting last month, we weren't able to
Mhm.
go back around that.
all right, well, give us some more information on when the next,
I can send an email out, I can get more information on how it actually is functioning
Yeah.
and let you guys know, because I think that there are some like a pre-recorded webinar on it that you can just watch. but I'll double
I'd
check.
like to do it for my own edification,
Yeah.
but I don't wanna step on.
Yeah, and more than
You
one,
wouldn't be.
you could all take
you're
it if you
so
wanted to.
sweet, thank you.
No, but you know what I mean?
I
Like,
do
I'm
know
cu-
what
and
you
I'd
mean.
like to
Okay.
check it out,
Well,
and if we both do it,
Well,
so
do
be
it,
it.
it'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah, because
It would be great.
there's no limit to how many people can do it.
You
so
can
anyone-
join us.
If anyone else wants to do it, you're more than welcome
But I
to.
just, because you said anybody, I'm like,
Party.
I'm thinking the chairwoman should, but.
Surprise, give us
Radio's
some
not
more
saying
I'll
no, be there with some
I'll be
wine.
there cheering.
There we
I'll
go,
be there
there we go.
cheering.
You'll be our
All right,
cheerleader.
and this correspondence which I got from the web.
Was this sent to the planning board or?
Well, I'm not even quite sure, but it was somewhere tucked in with stuff that went to the planning board.
Okay, so you know what, this came in after we got the agenda out, that's why, we were gonna place it on the next one. Granted,
Okay.
it also has mentions yeah, it's kind of an FYI on, the Eversource Energy and National Grid work, and there's gonna be a, public meeting on it on Zoom, if anyone wants to go, on April 25th. But it looks like they're doing most of the work in the pre-existing electrical right away, so I don't see it having any major impact. I haven't reviewed it very, in great detail, but it seems to me like it's gonna be in the pre-existing utility run, so.
Okay, so just for our information.
Yep.
Perfect. And so, that completing our meeting, motion to adjourn, anyone?
See that I'm naughty man here, should I make it?
Sure.
Motion to adjourn.
That's you're the lucky man here.
That's right, that's right.
And second to that motion,
I second the motion to adjourn.
all in favor?
Aye.
What a lovely meeting, guys, thank you guys so much.
Anything I